Hey, everybody. We're back, and I see Beth has made it first as usual, and I appreciate the hell out of you, of course. And it's always a pleasure to be here with you guys. And we've had a whole lot going on, and we're not talking about just champs. It appears that old Chad is being vindicated by the FDA, of course, and I know that's not what anybody wants to hear, as far as the 7.0 product goes, but they are not pleased. Today I had a screw in my tire, and I had to go get it fixed. And so while I'm sitting at the big old tire, I'm sitting back there drinking my free coffee. It's not really free because you are supposedly paying for it with tire service and maintenance. And the on the TV, and of course I'm there at lunch, and right in the middle, NBC has a huge um, going on about this, and of course they've got some doctor on there who keeps referring to it not as 7.0 but as kratom product. Now, for obvious reasons, man, that. Hang on, what's going on here? Oh, nothing. So that to me is very. I always feel like, man, that they lump the kratom into this 7.0, and my big fear with this is that they are going to goof it up and get kratom banned because they throw the feds tend to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and I know at the state level that they do too. But real quick though, I have to acknowledge my new shirts. Uh, we threw all the Fat Chad product out, being as though it really doesn't look like me anymore. Now I've still got my papers and some of the merch, but I'm not wearing the old T-shirts nearly as much. And so anyway, I just wanted to acknowledge the new shirts, and they're very soft, and I do not have these for sale, so I'm not trying to huck those out there. But and then so let's get back to it. Sorry, I just wanted to acknowledge it. Brandon hooked me up and helped me get these shirts together with our company, and that does it. And he worked really hard getting them done. And man, what a hassle that was! But not his fault, but not their fault. It's just the way things happened. We had to get them before I went to champs, but I really like them. I was able to get them. Brandon pulled it off. Thank God. Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate it. And the only thing we didn't pull off was my hats, but I don't really wear hats while I'm there anyway. So really wasn't such a big deal. Anyway, so 7.0 and this shit show of a news broadcast. I'm going to keep calling it news, by the way. This doctor just could not bring himself not to say the word kratom product when we know damn good and well a this is a derivative inside of kratom. This is not a kratom product, and anybody involved in it already knows. And it's very, very ugly. The FDA, put out. Let me show you this article here about it, and I'm not going to read the article to you because it's kind of lengthy, man. Reuters put this damn thing out, and Reuters is a particularly liberal rag, and but regardless, they are recommending this for scheduling this 7.0 product, right? And apparently on I'm just going to sum it up for you. I'm going to sum it up, and that way you know what the hell we're talking about here. On July 29th, the FDA recommended that 7-hydroxy 7.0 for all you laymen, a synthetic opioid found in vape liquids, gummies, beverages, be classified as a scheduled 1, Jesus Christ, citing its high abuse potential. And then it goes on to tell you about it. Ingredients contain the compound are frequently sold in vape shops, smoke shops, convenience stores, sometimes marketed as enhanced kratom. Ugh, I hate this. Oh, or let's see, also in candy, and it includes products appealing to the youth. The kids, oh God, the kids may get this. Here we go again with the kids and that bullshit. Apparently, the FDA issued warning letters and published a risk report. Now, it's a pretty substantial report, and we have access to all that too. Of course, we will put um, links into the description. Brandon will probably put them up any second now. He may have already. Well, he's already done that. Uh, Beth, you're right. A doctor is always paid by pharma. Yeah, yes, Kratom is definitely in competition. Hey, but I will give this guy credit. He did go on to say that this was a plant matter product. And he said that kratom was all plant matter. There was no synthetics in that, but that the hydroxy was extracted and then amplified. But I promise you, he very rarely called it 7-OH. He called it a kratom product. This kratom product, this kratom this kratom that. He just kept saying the word kratom, which is what they're going to end up doing. And, because like somebody told me today, if we get rid of the root product, we don't have to worry about that product and it'll just be gone. And that's a pretty good assumption. That's a pretty good assumption that's how that could go, very, very simply. And as bad as I hate to admit it, she's probably pretty right. Okay. Uh, Apparently, the regulators are aiming to curb a growing public health threat because people are going to the hospital over this shit. They're going to rehab over this stuff. They're getting apparently addicted to it because, we're not talking about kratom. You could just eat as much kratom as you want to, and you are going to piss and shit it out once you hit a certain level. You may even throw it up because it'll balloon in your belly, and you're not going to like that taste anyway. If you can drink that much, if you can eat that much, God, I can't even imagine. It's like putting scoops of flour, white powdered flour into your mouth, putting it with water, swishing it around, and then trying to get the damn grit out of your teeth. It's just gross, man. But they're being the FDA is being very proactive in this, and they're issuing these warning letters, and so far they've only issued them to some shops and some wholesalers, and apparently some manufacturers. All this is in there. If you've got the letter, Brandon, bring that thing up. Let me see if I can find it here for me. Let me read this to you. It says, I'm writing to warn you about an opioid that few physicians may be aware of. It's called 7-hydroxymid. Anyway, it goes on 7-8. I don't want to slander that word or tear up that word. 7-OH is found in trace amounts in the kratom plant leaf. But this is not our focus, which means kratom is not their focus. Our primary concern is the concentrated form of 7-OH. This is an important distinction. So the FDA definitely sees a total and complete distinction between the two. These concentrated 7-OH opioid products are far more dangerous than traditional kratom leaf products. Well, thank God the FDA is not that stupid. Okay. Now, I'm not telling you it's got anything to do with leadership. I'm not telling you that at all. But what I am telling you is that they are telling in the first two paragraphs, they know the difference. Okay. Concentrated 7-OH products, plural, have exploded in popularity in recent years with vape shops, gas station, corner stores selling pills, gummies, candies, and even eye-catching products like ice cream cone containing 7-OH. Now, I've seen that product, and it's a company called Exodus that was producing it, or at least selling it mass producing anyway. And you may also see 7-OH referred to as 7-OHMG, 7-hydroxy, 7-HMG, or just 7. Additionally, some kratom leaf products marketed as spiked or enhanced may contain 7-OH at levels 500% higher than would be naturally expected in kratom leaf. So anyway, it goes on to say, a little bit more. And then it says, like many physicians, I find it painful to recall the many opioid prescriptions I wrote in the early 2000s for routine procedures, unaware of the high potential for abuse. Our recognition of the abuse potential and our delayed response as medical community resulted in a national health crisis. Let's not get caught flat footed again. In addition to the FDA's ongoing regulatory activities and educational efforts, I appreciate your vigilance in this issue. It went on to tell that they are looking at the last sentence of the whole paragraph I jumped over. They're working alongside their partners in the DEA. Anytime the FBI, that the Alphabet Gang get together, this type of shit happens, to move forward with adding certain OH products to controlled substance schedules. So, man, these guys are looking to schedule this. So if you have a ton of this product in your store, well, my friends, you may have an issue. Here, I'm moved this whole thing over. Didn't mean to do that. You may have an issue, and you need to get rid of some of that ASAP, because if you don't, you may get caught holding, and you're just going to have to throw that in the garbage. And that's all there is to it. That's not pretty. I feel vindicated by this in a lot of ways. My stores did not sell this. My wholesale did not sell this. Yes, we lost a lot of money or missed a lot of money by not selling it, but I don't feel bad about it, because I know that we didn't hurt our customers or our customers' customer. And to me, I can deal with that, man. I can deal with the funding issue. That's not such a problem to me. The problem is feeling like I've hurt someone, and I don't want to be involved in that. So it is what it is. If you are selling it, I am not judging you. It's none of my business what you guys and girls do out there. That is not my thing. But I am telling you that when your customers are sick, they do not spend money. Tonight we're drinking tequila, by the way, añejo that is, and no, that is not that full of a glass. That piece of ice is now a little over 30 minutes old, and there's a lot more water in it than there is añejo. Just saying, don't start thinking I'm a drunk. Okay. All right. So wait till you hear about this this New Haven, from the New Haven Independent. I found an article about the police raiding Vapes R Us again, and I think that's the one I'm on. And here, I've got to find this now, and I thought I had it. Yep, here we go. And we get there's video of it, and there's they give an update and how the city police returned to the Westfield Village smoke shop Tuesday and reported leaving with 13 more pounds of illegal cannabis products as part of a broader sweep. Okay. And a lot of this stuff, man, is probably THCA products and stuff of that nature. Three other smoke shops, Mile Zero, Grab and Go Mart, and JJ Smoke Shop, were also raided and yielded additional cannabis. and arrest warrants are being pursued for store employees and owners, and potential license suspensions are under review. So the takeaway from this whole article, rather than get in here and just read for you because you're grown adults, Brandon will link this, of course, and you'll be able to pop this up and have a look. If this is your store, sucks. I've been involved in a raid. It's not cool. It's not something I would want or wish on any of you folks. Uh, Enforcement is about to intensify greatly with this stuff, and repeat offenders are going to lose their license, and more of this you're seeing. They're not legal dispensaries. I know they think they can just put the dispensary sign out front, that they sell, even on Amazon, they sell a green dispensary sign. And a lot of people tend to believe that that makes them a dispensary. And it's not, they're not a dispensary. And the only way, remember this, boys and girls, the only way for them to test THCA flower is to ignite it. And the moment that it's heated, it activates and then it becomes marijuana. It is what it is, y'all. I mean, before then, yep, you got an argument. I agree. You got the paperwork. I agree. You got everything that they sold you. I agree. I totally understand. But the only way they're going to test it is to ignite it. And when they do, it's going to come up hot. You're going to come up arrested and shut down. They're going to seize, quite a bit of shit, and it's not going to be pretty. Trust me, we've already seen how they test it. It's not great. It's very, very ugly what they do there. And also, they've got a lot of cannabis products. It talked about it in the article that are continuing to be disguised as candy-like packaging, and it raises concerns that this candy packaging could be laying around the house, and some dumbass kid reach in there because I'm a fat kid, at heart, and I still like eating sour candies, and next thing you know, these kids are all zooted out, or they take them to school and share them with their friends. And then what happens? It's going to come back on the parents. Then the parents are going to say, no, 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 man, I bought that from XYZ Smoke Shop. And then what happens? They come and they raid your spot, although you did nothing wrong. We've got to do better as a group, as a community, and demand, some proper packaging and some standards along that lines. And I realize really what you got to do is make these fucking parents understand that you're responsible for your bullshit. I get that. But as a community, we know that's not going to happen. And we know that we're going to have to, in the long run, be responsible for our own shit. And so in order to do that, we're just going to have to coordinate together and demand that they all look like the new Florida packaging. And we may have to do the gummies the same way, like Florida's doing it. And it's very, very, they still look nice, but it just doesn't look like something that a kid will take to school and share with his friends, because they're clear, not, or opaque, and they're not colors. And it's better. They are right. It's better. No, Florida's not the greatest place in the world, but they kind of got this part right. It is what it is. Okay. But now remember, the locals aren't just doing it themselves. They are coordinating with, state and federal agencies on this deal, and especially the health inspector. God, the more they keep getting these health inspectors involved, that's terrible, because the health inspector can just take your license, can yank your license if they believe you pose a health concern for the whole community. That's a death sentence. If you don't have a business license, that's a death sentence for your business. And that's definitely not what you want to look at, And so let's move on to the other one, and to prove my point here. And we go on to talk about these 5 more shops that was busted right? And here we go again, New Haven Independent. They're on top of this smoke shop stuff, because it's real easy. And as you can see, that if you see in this second picture here, you can see everybody sitting up against the wall. Now they're arrested. They're arrested now. Whether they want to tell you that or not, they are, man. And there's like a broader sweep is going on here, not just in this state here, man, but as a whole. This time around, they pulled the DCP, the NHPD, that's New Haven PD, and the fire marshal, the health department, building inspectors. So they are coordinating and targeting smoke shops mainly because they're just ready to get rid of this, because they keep having a problem and they're fed up, man. They are fed up and they don't want to fool with this any longer. And they're talking about Grande Smoke Shop yielded 14 pounds of cannabis and a basement club. MK Smoke Shop and Delhi had over 6 pounds. Some also violated zoning, fire safety, and e-cig regulations. All right. Inspectors reminded clerks of the upcoming citywide smoke shop ordinance launching October 1st. All right. So New Haven is escalating this enforcement. But the reason this is important to everybody here on the stream is that this just shows you the coordinated effort that one city is doing means maybe all cities will start doing this. And when they're ready to get rid of your ass, because there's a lot bigger problems you can have than the police. And once a building inspector gets involved, even if you don't own the building, really don't matter, because if they condemn the building because of a public nuisance ordinance that can be implemented, they don't care about your lease, bro. You're out. They don't even have to take your business license. What they can do is shut the building occupancy down and everybody has to leave. Everybody's out. You're out. And so then you got to pick everything up, all your build out, don't even care. You got to go somewhere else. And that may be harder than you think, especially if they have exclusion zones in the area. So if your city, if you can only have it in this part of the limits and there's no open buildings, or maybe the landlord just don't want the problems of a smoke shop, which is basically what they're doing. They're telling the landlords, this is what we are targeting. And so when that happens, maybe you don't have a business no more in that city. So, but on the other hand, maybe you're better off, violations, apparently in this article included unauthorized cannabis sales, product mislabeling, zoning non-compliance, and safety code lapses. So, yes, the cannabis sales, the unauthorized cannabis sales, yes, that's bad. I have to agree, but I think the zoning non-compliance and the safety code, even if they get out of the other issue and have a favorable ruling on their cannabis sales, you're zoning non-compliant. You're out of business, bro. You're out. You're not going back in there, man. And this aligns with the imminent municipal ordinance intended to regulate smoke shops operations tightly. And apparently somebody, especially the deli one, thought they could get around them. Surprise. That's not the way it goes, So you got to look at it that way. And, I hate to say it like this, but kind of is what it is, right? And or at least that's how I'm looking at it. And as bad as I hate to say it, yeah, kind of. So next, let's jump over to another article, the vape one, the Tennessee one. There's a Tennessee, another one out of Tennessee that I think is pretty interesting, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. And talking about vape shops voice concerns over phased rollouts of Tennessee's new compliance laws. And this is going on out of Chattanooga. And it says some local businesses, I'm going to read this to you because I think it bears reading. Some local businesses are confused about how a new Tennessee law on vape products is being implemented. Beginning Friday, which I guess that's tomorrow. Uh, yeah, is that yeah, it is tomorrow. The new law requires manufacturers of vape products to register each product sold in Tennessee through a Department of Revenue. Also, starting Friday, retailers can only purchase vapor products from licensed distributors. The new rules and new taxes are leaving smoke shops with a whole lot of questions. In an interview from early July, Tennessee Smoke Free Association President Danny Gillis voiced concerns about what he called a confusing rollout of new vape regulations. Now, the reason I'm telling you all this, I know not everybody here lives in Tennessee, but if it starts happening in one state, you can start waiting for it to happen all around it, because I'm kind of waiting for that in Kentucky, but they have a whole different set of things going on. But I mean, what's going to happen in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio? What's going to happen when that starts working its way up, working its way down, working its way across? Because, hey, it works so damn well in Tennessee. We're going to see what's up. All right. And it says, according to the notice from the Tennessee Department of Revenue, the new law is rolling out in three phases. It started July 1st with a 10% tax on vape products. Phase two begins August 1st, which is when a requirement begins for manufacturers to register any vape products they plan to sell in Tennessee. And on January of 2027, the state will begin enforcing the rules banning the sales of any unregistered products. So you're required, but the state is not going to enforce until January of 2027. That's a piss poor plan. Starting Friday, retailers can only purchase vape products from licensed distributors or wholesalers. But some shop owners say it's not that simple because the rules they're expected to follow are still being finalized. My man goes on to say, I think the legislation was a little backwards, so I think we should have got a vape license first, and then you know who's selling it, and then then you could have controlled distribution. Amen. This guy is a thinker. Earlier this month, bill sponsor, State Rep David Hawk said that the goal is to ensure only safe, legal products are being sold. Vape stores must sell a legal product, one that has been approved or is on a list of approved of the Federal Food and Drug Administration. Basically, they're going to go by the PMTA. That's what's up. But Gillis says there's a catch. The FDA list doesn't exist yet. And the tool shops will eventually use to verify legal products won't be made public until next year. Well, why not just tell them they can't sell it? With enforcement set to begin 1 year later, Gillis says that shops are scrambling to keep up with what's coming. He said, I think the enforcement is going to be a problem, and I don't think it's going to be a level playing field for a little while. In a statement, Representative Hawk tells us we have 19 months to become compliant with selling legal products. This should be more than ample time. So in between time, they can just sell willy nilly. And we didn't know. He says the law's purpose is for the kids. It's for the kids. But during the government operations committee meeting, Gillis argued it's not about public health, it's about control. He's right. The bill isn't built to limit access to kids. It allows big tobacco to take control of our harm reduction industry. There's not even trying to hide what they're doing. Here is the current list of e-cigarettes authorized by the FDA. Right here they are. And yeah. So, and he's right. They are all FDA big tobacco products. He's exactly right. I can't even I can't even throw shade at that. He's exactly right, and that sucks. Uh, Beth says it was really about safety. It would if it was really about safety, it wouldn't take months. I know it would take seconds. Okay, that's it. No more. It's that simple. If it really was about safety, you're exactly right, Beth. It's the simplest thing in the world. You just cut the head off. It's done. And you're exactly right. And of course, uh, the head of the vape coalition there, he's exactly right because they want to have complete and utter control, and also they don't want to make their constituents sick and not be able to pay their exorbitant taxes or their because in Tennessee they have this god awful amount of sales tax, and but they don't have the payroll tax, state payroll tax that we have. So one or the other, y'all. One or the other. Unlike Kentucky, they're taxing us 7 ways from Sunday. Not like the People's Republic of California, but still, it's pretty bad here in Kentucky, so I can't bitch. All right, so now I'm not quite done, but just to let you know, I put out the Smoke Shop News every single day on the Discord. Brandon just happened to throw this up and made me think about it. And we have a Discord link for you if you guys or girls would like to be a part of it and be able to read, because I put it out 7 days a week. Now, sometimes there's nothing notable. I do go through and I find three, four, five different ones that I think is notable. And I put in there stuff that, and there's a lot of conversation about it. Usually when I put in there, people want to know more about it. I can cite the sources, of course, every single time if you need that so that you can read the whole thing. But I do a pretty good job of summing it up. And hopefully, it'll be something you enjoy reading. And I get a big kick out of doing it. Uh, Also, over on Chadwade TV, I put out a lot of blogs, and I know that that's not nearly as popular as it once was, but I do find that people do go in there and they read those, and because I've had conversations with some customers who tell me, hey man, I read that blog. Can you, what do you really think about this, and this? And yeah, I mean, and it'll make for great conversations. And I do enjoy having those conversations, and I'm more than willing to do it. And my blog there, you can just pull any of them up. There is a number of them. I had to give myself that. I put it at work. I am not a writer, y'all. I mean, not really. I do have a published book on Amazon, and but I do have a lot of blog posts there. I am an Amazon bestseller, international bestseller on there. Should you want to buy a book and read my stylings and what's the word I'm looking for? Books that you might want to read. This is a quick, easy, weekend read. If you read slow, it's a weekend read. If not, you probably knock that out in one day, real easy. I absolutely enjoyed writing that book, and it's pretty personal to me. It is a business book, but it's about from the point of view of when we were in the streets doing our thing, and the lessons I learned there. I brought over into here, and it may give you something to giggle about. I've got some stylings on there that's sometimes pretty entertaining. Just saying. Okay. But anyway, we also have more books on Chadwade TV. Should you want to buy some books that we've made digital copy books there, and they are pretty. They're pretty in depth at times. Some of them's not nearly as deep as others, but some of them that we are getting to are going to be a lot more deeper and a little better publishing. Bella has put a lot of work in some of the artwork here, and we've really worked pretty hard on this last bunch of books, and I've got some more coming out. And right now, I'm working on three or four others. I'm working on one about cookbooks. I got a cookbook coming out, man, like a stoner cookbook. And I even put out a post on YouTube, hey, would you be interested in this? And I'm serious. I've found quite a few recipes. Some of them are prison recipes that I had, in jail. And yeah, I still eat that stuff today, believe it or not. I know what you're thinking. Why in the hell would you do that? But, you know, uh, these are very quick, easy meals, and we real I have to put a lot of time in these, man. And some of them I kind of was iffy about, but I did a little research on them, and I found a whole lot about some products that I including in this. I don't have affiliate links for anything like that. But if you buy the book, and I'm sure you'll get a little entertainment to it. And if you found some quick, easy food, to make it to shop while you're there, because it doesn't take a lot of ingredients, and a lot of it can be done with a microwave, maybe a hot plate, maybe, a pot to boil some water in. And, it's pretty simple to do. And you can mix that stuff up, because I made it to be, if a stoner was so high he could not, work his phone for Uber Eats or whatever, he could at least get it. He or she could get back in there and could at least make some these concoctions according to what's in the book. But anyway, I've got quite a few books there that will also help you with your retail and what you're doing there. And should you want to actually get out there and open a store, or maybe if you want to enhance the store. So I've got some things for everybody, a little bit for everybody, if that makes sense. May not make any sense. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully you like it. But okay, let's do this last one that I've got here. And I think this one comes out of Richmond. And I think I've got that here. Hang on, right here. Yeah, Richmond, here in Virginia. And uh, the Richmond City Council. And they're talking about the things that they're pissed off about, and they've got some questions here, man, for these people. And one of them is about the vape shop rules. All right. And it's more of efficacy issue here. The new zoning rules apparently prohibit shops that sell tobacco and smokable hemp within 1,000 feet of residential districts, K through 12 schools, places of worship, child daycare centers, parks, and public libraries, and existing tobacco and vape shops. So if you're within 1,000 feet of a smoke shop or a vape shop, you're out. The ordinance would only leave a few small pockets in the city where new smoke shops could be built. Okay, other local governments in the region passed regulations aimed at reining in smoke shops. Like Hanover County's planning commissioner voted earlier this month to refer a similar zoning update to its board of supervisors. So the reason I'm bringing this to your attention is this could happen in your city. So, what happens if you've been there 10, 15 years and they decide that you're in violation of the new ordinance? Are you out? I mean, apparently, with this ordinance, it didn't impact existing stores. It only allows for the new stores going forward. So hopefully your city will be that forward thinking and say, hey, look, we got to be careful. We can get sued for this. You've been taking this, and all of a sudden it looks like you're discriminating against them. And yeah, it does. And apparently, studies show that proximity of tobacco retailers around school is associated with a greater number of adolescents who smoke, you know. And I don't know, man. I mean, I remember when we would go to school, we, riding the bus, wheels on the bus go round and anyway, and as we would go to school, we would pass, at one time, that you used to have where they could in Minute Marts and Circle K's and Piggly Wigglies, even the grocery store had Marlboro signs right in the windows, and it would just blam, there it is, and you would ask yourself all the time, hey, wonder what that's like. And I even remember taking Dad's Winston's off the, he'd have a couple of them left over in a pack of Winston's on his dashboard. And as boys we would take them down to the barn and we would smoke, I don't know. I mean, we stayed more sick with it than we did anything else. So what did we really what really happened there for us? And later in life, I did smoke cigarettes, and of course, it was easy for me to lay down. It wasn't that big of a deal because you stunk. It smelled like cigarettes all the time on your hands and everything. There was no way to hide it from your parents, and they knew it, and they weren't pleased with it. And your mother said, "Oh, you stink! You smell of smoke." As she was smoking one cigarette after another. That's beside the point. But anyway, so I don't know, man. I mean, it looks like they're finding ways to push us out as retailers. Now, are they gonna do that nationwide? I don't know, man. But I am bringing your attention to it. That's all. I'm not putting it out there that, oh, the henny penny, the sky is falling, and I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is you better be alert because this really is happening and you really need to pay attention and pay attention to what's going on at your city council. It might be a good idea to pop in there, every now and then and just see what's up. Maybe get on the city council's website and read the minutes. And if you start seeing things about vape and smoke shops, you might ought to get together with everybody else in their community about that and start attending those and start explaining to them why this is going to be a problem for you and your businesses. And it's going to be something that maybe you really should, start paying attention to and participating in. Or else, these raids are going to start happening and it's going to be very ugly. Beth says, that you have to keep an eye on local meetings. I read the minutes a few times a month. I think it's a good idea, man. I really think it does. My main store here in Shepherdsville does not have a tremendous amount of we don't have a tremendous amount of smoke shops. What we have is a tremendous amount of gas stations that are run by some of the usual suspects that carry some of the products, but they also have a lot to lose with their beer and alcohol license as well. So they have to be very, very careful what they do there. So we are blessed with that. But on the other hand, who knows what's underneath the counter? Got no idea. None of my business. I can only take care of my shops. But if I start seeing it to be a problem, yeah, I need to start paying attention to it as well. Now, my Louisville stores, they're everywhere. There's everything in their brother up there in Louisville, and it's a big big city, and so there's a lot of smoke shops up there, and a lot of different types of people own those as well, and a lot of different ethnicities. But we all usually get along pretty well. So, it's been a long time since we've had any headbuttings going on, and we have been extremely blessed by that. So, anyway, I haven't heard any bullshit here locally about this, but who knows, man? Who knows what will happen next, in this industry and what we all get involved in. I do know that I just came back from Champs, and there's going to be a lot of people that were showing at Champs that are going to have wasted their money because it was the 7-0 show, and I mean it was a tremendous amount of 7-0. But man, I kind of wish Bella was down here so that I could prove it. While we were there, we were seeing some advertising for new 7-0 that was going to be 10 times the strength of what 7-0 is today. And they're not talking about in 2 months. They're talking about ready to ship today. And so that your 7-0 product you have in your store, that when the store across downtown has it and you don't have it, your 7-0 is going to quickly be worthless. And then there were, had different kinds of 7-0 too. And so it's getting it was getting very weird there. And it was a different type of situation there. But they also had this issue with giving out any kind of samples. And Champs is a little awkward this time, and I don't believe it was because of Jeff and his people at Champs. None of the management. I believe that it was either the venue or it was all the sheriff's department that was there for some strange reason. We even saw drug dogs there that we hadn't seen before. They made it clear that you were not to give samples. You were not to let anybody try the product in any way. They didn't care what you sold, whether you sold whether it was vapes or whether it was 7.0 or anything in between. Nothing. And the amount of vapes that was there, the vape people that was there, not nearly as many, not even a third of them. And was it because they couldn't get it in? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I saw again more glass. I saw more glass. I saw more smoke shop, traditional smoke shop products. But then I also saw a whole lot of. I know my daughter is going to love for me to talk about this. Little boo boos, little boo boos, love boo boos. So she saw those everywhere. You saw those damn things. And if you don't know what those are, Labubus are everywhere and famous. And they were making these little ones. They were inspired by Labubus. They were called something else. They didn't have the traditional typeface. They just had that look. And so, like anything that comes out of China, uh, are inspired by something else. But we also saw a lot of lighting product. We saw a lot of just a lot of traditional stuff. A lot of incense. We saw of course, Wildberry had a nice big booth. Kim, the lady that was running the booth, she's lost a tremendous amount of weight. And had I have not known she was losing that weight, I probably wouldn't have saw her either. Josh at Raw was there, of course, and he was doing something I hadn't seen him do before. He was doing selfies with people around, doing videos with them, letting them do reels and stories, on Instagram or Facebook. And I even saw a lot of short content from him on YouTube. And this is usually a no for him. Usually you can get in line, you can shake hands, he'll speak with you. Apparently he's kind of charismatic, but I'm wondering if he isn't trying to build his status back up from where he had some issues online and people were making some controversial statements about him and some of his happenings. And again, none of my fucking business. But I wonder what was going on there. Also, Raw is also involved in the purchase of High Times magazine. Of course, he's promoting the hell out of that. But there was a lot of the usual crowd there, a lot of the usual crowd as far as vendors, and they had nicer booths, but they were smaller. You're starting to see some of the big names slim down their offerings and slim down the size of their booth, anticipating what I think they thought was either going to be an outright war on hemp, which Rand Paul apparently put the kibosh on, just a day or so ago. And of course, he's from Kentucky as well. And that came, after, of course, Mitch the bitch McConnell, also a senator from Kentucky, filed to repeal apparently a lot of the 2018 Farm Bill. So we're glad that another guy from Kentucky, thank you, Lord, had some sensibility to stick to his guns, and apparently was going to hold up some kind of funding bill if they included this language in it. And he was willing to hold it up and put the shit on that too. And so thank God Rand Paul stuck to his guns and refused to hear it any other way. And so once they took that out, he was all for it, got back in line, and here we are today. But Rand Paul saved us from, Mitch the bitch. It is what it is. And so, well, thank God for that. And I really think, though, that some of the vendors there were anticipating that. And so they just scaled everything down. And so maybe things is going to change. I don't know. But I do know that in a lot of states, we're seeing a lot of legislation where people are going to a low dose hemp or outright banning hemp altogether. And that may be a states' rights issue that we're going to have to combat as a community together. I don't know, man. I mean, there was a lot that was going on. There's a lot of conversations and I had a lot of people ask my opinion and again, it's just that my opinion and I don't know how good that is and I just know that there's a lot of people there that are very worried about what's going to happen within their states and very fearful. It's a very very fearful time and I feel you, man. I feel every single one of you. And I know that you're all scared, but I'm just telling you, man, I'm telling you, stay the course. Do not give up. I promise you, this too shall pass. I mean, I know that's very biblical there, but it will. This will get better. We will not have this issue forever. This is not the first time Brandon and I have seen, this kind of problem. And there's always something new coming down the pipe, whether it's nootropics, whether it's Blue Lotus, whether it's more mushroom products. I don't know, but it always comes out. We are selling a lot of Blue Lotus right now. We are selling a tremendous amount of it. We're selling a lot of nootropic products, and I'm glad of that. I'm we just have a tremendous amount of this stuff right now, and we're watching more and more of it sell. I've even got Blue Lotus pre rolls. Oh, good. Brandon put that up here for us, and we have quite a bit of this, and even some with the Mad Honey infused, and of course that's our big seller right now. And we are real. We've got 10 different kinds of it. We've got all the labs for it and it shows you all of the delta content, zero, and which is always a good thing. And so we're happy for it. And I know that if you check it out, you'll be happy of it too. We are we're seeing a lot more of our mushroom products are selling. I've got some new stuff coming in as well, and we're looking forward to it. Of course, we've also got these new hookahs that Brandon's about to roll past here, and these are yes, they're a little more pricey, but they're not the cheap foreign made garbage. These are a very heavy product. These are very heavy boxes, strong like bull. And so I love saying that. I'm sorry. But anyway, a lot of these products here, we've got a lot of good things going on right now at the UNSWholesale.com. And we'd be glad to get you out a product. I've also even got these new blunted going down a little bit more. I've got these new blunt cones here and with a glass tip into them. We are selling quite a few of them. I've got these things in 5 different flavors, and we're having a lot of good luck with them. They come in a nice display box. They're really well packaged. I really am thrilled with this glass tip to it. They're very slow burning, and it's a product that I can just honestly get behind. And by the way, they're totally tobacco free. So if you don't have a tobacco license, you can sell these. Not such a big deal. And to get them in and get them out, these guys, man, it even has a mesh filter in it, so that you ain't got to worry about the hot rock down your throat. But with that glass tip, you're not going to have any burning of the lips. And very, very nice stuff here, man. I'm thrilled with this product. I do sell a lot of it. No, this is not a sales pitch, but I am letting you be making you aware of it. And I haven't told you any pricing. Definitely not a sales pitch. But take time. Go over to UNSWholesale.com and check it all out. Find something new for your store. Don't just have everything that everybody gets at your local cash and carry. That's the biggest mistake a lot of stores make, in my humble opinion. But all right, guys. Well, look, we're at the top of the hour here, and I've gone through everything. We'll do this again in a couple of weeks. Bella's getting ready to go back to school, so I'm going to have a lot more free time. And I'm kind of working on a morning show as well. And if you'd be interested in that, and may not be as well produced as this because Brandon ain't going to want to do this, in the morning, because Brandon's on the back end of this. And when you see this stuff come up, that's not Chad. I'm not doing that. Brandon's doing that on the other end, and he's bringing all this up. So I'm not going to ask him to do that in the early AM and have to put up with my ass before he has to accidentally put up with my ass. And so I don't know. We may do something a little less produced, but still have, a little morning coffee or something and, what's going on, within, whatever. And, but, I really do think you all would benefit from the Discord as well. So make sure you jump over there to it. Make sure, you check that out. And it's really just filled with shop owners. I don't have any, no, looky loos either. Nobody that would what's the word I'm looking for? Nobody kicking tires for being in the industry. All these people are all vetted. You have to answer some questions to even get in. I know each and every human being in the building. There's no bots, no way to get in unless you're approved. And when one of your accounts gets took over, I just kick your ass out. It's over, and no more bots in our spot. All right, guys. So that's going to be it for tonight. We're gonna cut it loose here, and because we're right at 8 o'clock, I've got a big day tomorrow. Of course, it's Friday, and we're gonna try to finish off strong. Been having good days this week, and we'd like to continue that to go. I've got some orders I got to get put in, and plenty to do. So if I can get an order out for you, UNSWholesale.com. Don't forget, we are the manufacturer of Ultimate Gold Detox. So if you want a quality detox with a huge history in our industry, we got you covered, and we will give you the best price. So we can do that. We own that. You know. All right, guys. If you need any help at all, hit me up, Chad Wade TV, or hit me up over at email, askchadwade@gmail.com. I'll be glad to answer any and all questions there. Should you need a little consultation, though, head on over to chadwadetv.com and be a part of that. And also, first of the month, great for Ultimate Gold, Beth. You're exactly right. Everybody's got to get a job or they got to see the PO. So either way is fine with me, man, as long as you're free. That's all that matters. Okay. Hit us up though. Let us know if we can help you out in any way whatsoever. We will be glad to do it. And I appreciate any and everything. I'm glad all of you came by. Beth, as always, thank you for stopping in and hanging out with me and spending your hour with me. Bless you as always. Number one fan, of course. All right, guys. Thanks for everything. Guys and girls, I better say, because Beth is in the house, I'm just saying. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for doing this, and I appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Bye. Be safe.